Hi, Scorpio. Welcome to your Astro Reels. It's such a pleasure to read for you. God bless. You know how we roll. You don't have to have any significant scorpionic placements in your natal chart, and you don't have to be watching this video at the time that you are watching it, or I'm publishing it, in order for it to be for you. If it's for you, then it's for you. And if it's not, if it doesn't feel like it is, I would back pocket it and see, how the energies unfold and then come back and watch the video a little bit later. All right, if you'd like to work more personally with me, you know exactly where to find me. Think right there. And you can find my Etsy page on whatever platform you're watching. Now, Scorpio, let's jump right in. I do want to say, Scorpio, this card fell off the desk right before I went to turn on this camera. And when I looked at it, I got kind of happy for you because the energy, whoever you are, you don't have to have Scorpio, right? But I got kind of happy because the energy is showing that you're almost done. If you're not done already, I'm feeling like you've got 3 more steps. It's almost like 4 more steps, maybe, if you're being super thorough, dotting your I's, crossing your T's. And you just have like a few more steps to finish out some old karmic cycle, right? Now, if you remember, in the month of May, it was a big month in terms of major energies from multiple lifetimes closing out. And in fact, I had some clients who I worked with who had the same issue, and I even had something that was closing out after multiple lifetimes. It's always good to know when something is being closed out, right? Because it's like, wow. And sometimes you don't know. It's because it becomes such an easy decision for you to make in this lifetime or whatever lifetime that you're closing it out, and that's a little bit deceptive because it may be easy in the moment, but you don't know how many lifetimes you really struggled and were not able to finish something. So I just want to say that this reading is starting off with some felicitations. I do want to make a note, though, that there's coming through a little bit of a cautionary tale here in terms there. I'm getting sugary content. So obviously for some of us, this could be in reference to your diet. So watching your sugar intake, but I'm wondering what else this could be. It's almost like looking also at doing things that stimulate the pleasure circuits of your brain, the pleasure centers of your brain. So now we're talking about your reward centers, right? So what are you doing that rewards you, that gives you pleasure? What are you doing that, is making you go back and back, and that could be a little bit detrimental to your health and well-being, but you're still doing it. 2 minutes 44 seconds. Now obviously we know what that looks like, overstimulation of the reward center, and kind of playing with that a lot. It's addiction, right? It becomes an addiction, and obviously that's a very basic and simplified way to explain that, but also when we overstimulate something that gives us pleasure, we're actually numbing ourselves to it, and we want more and more and more and more to get that fix, right? So just be mindful. Maybe now is a good time for you to self-assess. What is it that I'm doing that I know I would, well, if I had my druthers, I would love to keep doing? Ooh, a man just popped into my head for me. So somebody is if you know, somebody's guide is coming through. Like for somebody here, it's about a man. But obviously for some people it's diet. For some people, I'm getting music also for somebody. So I don't know if it's the type of music you're listening to, or I almost said watching, the type of music you're watching or listening to, who knows. But either way, what I'd like to say is it's very important to watch these things. So take a moment and think in your life, what is it that I am doing or listening to or consuming? Is really the best word, consuming, because when we consume from an energetic standpoint, that includes everything that creates an energetic input. So from the places that you decide to frequent, where now you're allowing the place to energetically input, all the way to the people that you connect with, you're allowing them to energetically input. It includes your food, your media, things you listen to, all that stuff. So it's very important. So think about what it is that you're consuming that, well, if you had your druthers, you'd continue to do it. But if you're keeping it 100 all the way, you realize it's not for me. 4 minutes 44 seconds. For somebody here, and I don't know if it's the same person with the man, with that your guides were just giving you a personal shout out, but for somebody here, there is a man involved as well, but you know this person's not for you because this person is tied up with someone else, marriage or whatnot. These days, it's always complicated. And we seek out complicated situations when there are parts of us that we are denying. Okay, so because the truth is, if you really wanted someone who is there to love you and care for you and give you what it is that your soul needs, anything that disrupts that, you would be like, oh, this isn't the person for me, or oh, I don't want any part of this. But you're still going forward with it, even though you've got these binds and these tears and these all this stuff, right? They're saying tears because that's a reference to your energetic field. So some of you may actually really be in need of energetic work to be done on your energetic field. You may have tears, rips, things like that, portals and vortices that are open or closed and blah blah blah, that create the conditions for you to find certain things that are not for you to be appealing. And you'll know also, especially it's in an advanced case, when you're in yearning mode for whatever it is, whether it's a substance or a person. And of course, when these things start to get in terms of everything, because everything does affect us neurologically, not just chemical substances, but when we are connecting with people that we like, certain hormones are produced, all sorts of stuff. So in a sense, any kind of thing that gives us pleasure, but that is not for our highest good and that we struggle to get rid of, is like an addiction. And there's usually a lot of work, or there's a component, not usually, there always is a non-physical component. As I said that, I just felt like, you see how I turned this over and it was like, boom. This is showing that for some of you, this is kind of, your guides are trying to get in touch with you about your addictions now, because he's like, I'm not moving. So in a sense, I like how we started off this reading, because it's this idea that you're getting out of something, you're almost done, you're hopefully dotting your I's, crossing your T's. But I do see that maybe what your next step is that you do need to let go of something. For some of you, it could be a dream that is not really the dream that's for you. Maybe you have an idea of what you want to do or who you want to be, or your identity, and you've kind of cultivated an idea that that's what you are, that's the role that you're to play, whether it's because you're seeing yourself as a wife or a mother or a teacher or just whatever. And Spirit is saying, actually, it's not the role that you are best suited for. It's not the role that your soul knows will bring you the greatest joy. So there's a little bit, just like everybody else in the collective right now, there's a little bit of a surrender that's being asked for right now. So I would say, Scorpio, and while I was chatting away earlier, the guides were like Scorpio, and reminding us that scorpionic energies do struggle sometimes with the intensity of their life and with addictions and things like that. And so, but you guys are also very, very good with transmuting things. If you're in a high vibe, if you're a higher vibing Scorpio, all the signs have higher and lower vibes, and we oscillate between the two depending on the subject matter, right? But if you're in a high vibe mode, then you're transmuting the energies. If you're in a low vibe mode, then you're using it as a toxic I don't know, IV bag. Toxic. It's like feeding. The toxicity is the addiction, and that's what I'm saying. And yes, everybody. I can almost practically hear some of you like, but everybody's like that. Yes, everybody does have that. But just like how we know that Pisces, love you Pisces, they go off. They go off in their mind, and they're in la la land somewhere. And where are you Pisces? More so than a Scorpio would. That Pisces owns that. That's a Neptunian thing. Well, this is kind of a toxic addiction and obsessiveness and all of that is kind of in the realm of Scorpio. Okay, so anyway, the guides are just reminding you The B word, balance. Ooh, stay in your integrity. Dang. And if you guys watch my readings, you know that I talk when this card comes out, I'm like, oh my God, that's a heavy hitter. That's like the heavy hitting integrity card of this deck. So I love that it's even able to come into your reading here because you've got the potential to get that going. But Spirit is saying that right now to really release yourself from something. This is going to be about taking the path of less turbulence. The path of less turbulence, my friend, is not the past not the past. Oh, you heard them say the past. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. It's not the past. So if you're still in some situation, yeah, let it go. In fact, you got the karmic trench here. But I was going to say not the path that is the most pleasurable, like addictive, toxic, and I know he's no good, or I know this is no good, but I can't help it. I'm obsessed, I'm yearning. That's actually not the path of least resistance either. Just so you know, it may feel like it, but there's resistance, there's tension all over your field, but you may feel drawn to it because of the energy work that needs to be done in the non-physical fields. When we do the energy work in the non-physical bodies, things just unravel in the physical, like things you were struggling with for a long time. Just like, wow, I woke up and I no longer felt an appeal for that. There was no electric charge. That's what the healing does. The healings decrease or the charge, right? And so that's what it is. So you're no longer feeling compelled to run towards someone or to run away from something. It's just, there's no drama. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so that's what I'm getting. But I'm also saying that you're going to have some radical self-honesty around something in your life. I'm not going to lie. I do feel mother issues here, 11 minutes, 11 seconds. So for some of you, it could be as simple as, and I say as simple as because the hard part is the resistance, but as simple as seeing 11 minutes, 22 seconds, see the alignment, how you actually share the same traits with a mother or mother figure or mother or mother figure or mothering energy in your life that you do not like. So obviously that's not going to be for everybody, but if you have a mother energy, sometimes when I'm dealing with a client, God bless your buttons, as soon as I get into field, I'm hit by mother issues. I'm like, whoa, or father issues. It's like, and it's usually like around the neck or burrowed into different parts of the body, and right, so it's just like right there you can sense the mother issues and father issues as an energetic cell, like a weather pattern. Your weather cells, weather and energy, right? So they kind of move. Yeah, so anyway, it's right there. It's like, oh yeah, you got mother issues right there. So these things are in our field and they're constantly affecting us, and we may not realize it because we've had it for so long that we can no longer distinguish it. Just like how you may struggle to discern which voice you hear belongs to your guides and which is yours, and which is your inner child, and which is your fear voice, and which is the voice of your father and your mother and conditioning, and then the voices of entities around you, right? All these things are always kind of in the field, and so you've always kind of heard all these things, so you don't really know, like a fish in water, in a fishbowl, that it's in water. So long story short, mother issues is something that is coming through for a lot of you guys, and you're going to have to start to see or to acknowledge. This is about acknowledging, what is it that I'm trying to disown, but that I actually share with this toxic mother energy? In other words, can you admit to yourself in a blanket statement and say, hey, maybe you're the same person in many ways. Now, some of you may want to kill me, and don't kill the messenger, but I'm going to bring it back here, when you're really about it, then you understand, oh my God, duh, everybody outside of me is just a reflection of who I am. Now, when we're doing our healing work, it's easier for us to start off by blaming other people. And then as we evolve some more, we start to trace it back to the parent and the home life. And it's easy to blame that. But when you really get into your nitty gritty, you then start to realize, oh, everyone outside of me is just a reflection. I want to say holy reflection of myself. Guess who is the first place to reflect you? Your parents. So mom and dad are going to be the first reflection of an aspect that you have as your divine feminine and as your divine masculine. But you know, to really make that connection on a visceral level, you would have to really do some work. And a lot of times when we look into our past lifetimes, we're like, oh, the roles are reversed. I was what they're doing this time, I was doing that in other lifetimes. And this lifetime, my soul wanted to be on the receiving end to understand how that feels, or to learn, right? So trust me when I say just try to be open to this healing. All right, I'm going to leave it here so we can keep it short. God bless you. You know where to find me. Bye.